All right, awesome. Welcome to the call, you guys. We are so excited. We were just talking about Christmas, but we're reeling it back to October because we still have the most exciting part of the year to go through. And I just want to first start by being super vulnerable and tell you that if you feel like this year has been harder, if you feel like it's been slower, and if you feel like you've been busier, literally that is the entire world. I don't know what's going on. But it literally this year, everyone is going through something that just feels like we're getting pulled out of the directions that we once were so easily not pulled away from. And that's myself included, Jocelyn included. Like all of us are like, oh my gosh, we're doing our best, but like, what is happening? Like, where is my footing and what is happening? And so if you've been feeling that way, I just want you to know that sometimes we can feel that way and think like, oh, like maybe my I'm just muting everybody quick. Maybe what I thought was for me, and maybe this dream and this pull I had to this amazing thing wasn't, maybe I was just meant to come here for the products because clearly I can't get this ball rolling or I can't commit and I can't do just what I'm going to say. And I want to just say that, like, that is everyone lately. Like, all of us, even in our leader chat, we're like, hey, everyone, how was summer? Because we are just like in there and out, and connection has been so hard. Whatever the reason is, I want to remind you that it doesn't matter because the reason that we're here and the reason that we joined and and everything that you can create here still stands true today. It's just getting your footing again. And sometimes getting your footing feels a whole lot harder than it did the first time, because the first time when you come in, there's excitement and it's newness. It's like a relationship. You come into the relationship, it's new, it's exciting. You get to look forward to the first kiss, right? The first PC, the first advocate, the first date, all of these things. And it feels like life is literally just being breathed into you. And it feels like magic and it feels like the honeymoon phase. And we have a honeymoon phase in the business. But what happens is we have a dip in everything. We have a dip in relationships. We have to come back out. We're riding those waves all the time. We have a dip in business. The secret and the key here is when you have the dip in business, are you holding on to come out of the dip because typically you go higher at the other end, or are you letting the dip make you think that it's not for you? Because if you think about it like a relationship, if in every relationship when there was a dip, you were like, well, I guess that's it, none of us would be married. None of us would have children. We might have children. We might be promiscuous, but none of us would have anything that's successful. A successful friendship, a successful relationship with our parents, a successful relationship with our significant other. Nothing, because we would give up in the dip. But we don't give up in the dip in parenting. Can you imagine being a parent and giving up in the dip? I dip every freaking day. I'm like, when can we stop doing these dips, man? Like, this is wild. But it's about learning when you're in the dip and then climbing higher every time. So the question is, are you learning when you're in the dip? And are you able to understand the relationship and the parallels that I'm making here for you to understand that this is no different? And that sometimes there's a dip, but the dip is there on purpose for you to ask yourself, what is my weakest link right now? And what do I need to lean into to take myself to a higher elevation? Right? So for me, my dip came because I'll just be honest, I decided to help a friend out with his business. He needed someone to do training and someone to do business development, and that's right up my alley. And I committed to 10 hours a week, and I'm really giving him like 30 hours a week. I haven't worked for anyone besides myself since 2015. So I'm like homeschooling, working there. I'm like, what am I doing? But it's filling a need as a single mom. Like, I have to create multiple income streams, and it's an easy thing for me because a lot of it's from home. But that has taken me and it's put me in a dip. Why? Not because I'm not capable, and not because this isn't for me, not because people don't want this, and not because people don't have the money for these products. I just want to say something, and this is all said with love, but if we can believe that people out there can buy high ticket items, but we struggle believing they can buy something that's like this, Like that's just our mindset, and that's just us wanting to look at a shiny object. And I'm not putting anything like that down. I know there's a lot of talk about that going on right now. I want to say everything that anyone needs to do for themselves and they believe in, do it. But if you can believe in something like that, you can believe that people will do this for their health. And it all, what you create is literally your mindset. It's literally what you decide. That's what people believe. So with the dip, right? For me, it's not that I'm not capable. It's that I am in a new season of life and I've never done all this before. When I first started in network marketing, I was working full time as a hairstylist. I was pregnant and I was building a business. Then I worked from home on my own in this space for many years, only doing network marketing. Then I got divorced and I created a life coaching business alongside that. And I had to work through that dip. And then now I have another part time, which was supposed to be less than part time thing that I love. And it's giving me life in a way that I need it as a single mom. But it is creating a dip, not a dip that's bad, a dip that's saying, oh, I must learn something new now. What is it? But if I'm not curious enough to ask that question, then I'm not going to figure it out. No one's going to be curious enough to ask the question for me, and no one's going to figure it out for me, right? So the reason I'm saying that is because if you feel like you just haven't found your footing yet, or you got knocked off and you're trying to get back on, I want you to give yourself permission to wipe your canvas clean and run through the most exciting time of the year, October, November, December, with us, with the launches of new sales, maybe new things. I don't know. I have no idea. That's just coming out, but I don't know if it's true, or if it's real. Maybe new things, but so many sales, so much fun, so much excitement, and literally the best time because people are already expecting to spend money in this time. And it's a time where if you are consistently the person that is sharing the value and the why and what it's doing for you and the stories, then they will land exactly where they need to with you. So I was walking today and I was listening to Brendon Burchard on my walk. I said walk twice and my dog didn't even flinch. Oh, she did. Hi, Karma. I was like, oh, look at that. So I was listening to him, and it is the seven, I forget what it is. High habits, highly habits. You guys know there's some of those words in there. That's the title. But what he said is this, and I want you guys to think of this. I want you to write it down, and I want you to read it every single day for the rest of the year. And you don't have to listen to me because I'm not your boss, but you're here for a reason. You're giving us your time for a reason. You're giving you time for a reason. You're giving yourself and us belief for a reason. And so if you just read one sentence a day for the rest of the year that could possibly change so much, I think it's worth it, right? So the thing he said, which literally I was doing this with my legs and I was like floored, is he said, human excellence is nothing more than a state of mind. Human excellence is nothing more than a state of mind. People that are excellent at this, it's because their state of mind is excellent at this. If they're excellent at whatever, it's the state of mind and what you're doing is excellent at that. You have to choose that with your whole body, right? And he was talking about mastering transitions. And I thought this was really great because how many times are we trying to fit these in the day into pockets of time? And how many times are we maybe like just transitioning from one thing to another or doing all these different things? So this is what he said. When you can master your transitions, then you can focus on the fact that you can have a higher state of human excellence, which literally human excellence is a state of mind, right? So if you want to be excellent, if you want to have that, then what you want to do is master your transitions. And this was his advice. Between every transition, so for me, coming into my work block, going into parenting, going on to whatever it is, I'm really kind of bad with transitions. Um, I'm not good with transitions that have to do with people. I'm good with transitions that have to do with this and that have to do with me bouncing from one work or my workout or whatever to the other. But I'm not good at not bringing my work home. I'm not good at not bringing my stress into my relationship, maybe for the first 10 minutes. Like Jay did all this yesterday, took Oliver out for a one-on-one while I had to take Owen to practice, all this. And when he got back, I was just so tired from the day that I don't do a good job at being then excited in the transition to, ooh, more connection, more people. Like I have to work on that. And this was something that was big. But I also think sometimes I'm jumping into my work block and we have to invite and we're like, oh, we need to be in a state of excellence. So the transition is number one, you close your eyes for a minute and you repeat in your mind, release, 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 and you keep repeating in your mind, and eventually you're going to feel your shoulders drop, you're going to feel the tension lessen, and you're going to feel yourself release whatever you just went from so that you're preparing to walk into what's next. And what you do then is you set the intention. What do I want to feel and achieve in this next activity? So how many times do you sit down before you work and think, what do I want to feel and achieve? It's more like, let me get this invite out. Who's in my inbox? I gotta, ooh, did someone comment? Right? But what if beforehand you took a second and you're like, what do I want to feel and achieve in this next activity? How can I do it with excellence? How can I be more present? And I'll put this in our team thread. And how can I enjoy it most? Okay. He said that he has a questions that he asked. He told this to somebody, and this guy emailed him back the night after he had this conversation with him. And he said, my life changed today when I got home, because I got home and instead of getting out of my car and going in, I sat and I did the transition thing that you said. And when I went in, he goes, right before I went in, I asked myself, how would I greet my wife if I were the best husband? How would I greet Jay if I was the best girlfriend? How would I greet my kids when I'm stressed if I was the best mom? I am the best mom, but we're all the best. We're all the best. But you know what I'm saying? What if you asked yourself that question before? How would I talk to other people if I was the best advocate at this? How would I meet them? How would I share? Right? How would I be with my kids if I realized how important this time is? That was a big one for me too, right? Being so busy and all the things. So the things that cause the most amount of tension is something he says to kind of dive into. And then he ended it with Abraham Lincoln. Most people are about as happy as they decide to be. So let's think about that. Most people are as happy as they decide to be, and human excellence is a state of mind. We're all busy. We're drowning. This year's hard. We're too busy. We're not getting, what are we creating? Not excellence and not that state of happiness in this space, right? So anyway, the reason I shared that with you is because listening to that today, I was like, oh, I just have to choose that again in a relationship, all excited, honeymoon phase, first fight. If you're anything like me, you're like, well, there it goes. First argument, first whatever, second argument. Each of those times, it can be harder to reconnect unless you choose to, right? So what I would love to do is ask you guys to, even if it's maybe some of you are like, I haven't been feeling any of this. I've been feeling great. Well, good. But I know a lot of us have been feeling like this summer and all of this has just been a lot. And we've all been going through a lot personally. So wipe that canvas clean. We have the best holiday about to emerge and so much fun about to happen. And I just kind of wanted to start with that and just kind of like throw some fire out there, because if we're not throwing fire, like if we're not literally lighting fire for each other and together, then what are we doing? And Tabitha asked this question the other day. She said, when we first started, there were so many people joining in all these amounts. And she goes, remember how much like we were just tagging each other and having fun and whatever. And she goes, and we do that still, but not like we used to. And so a question that's really good for us to continue to ask ourselves is when you're sharing and when you're doing what you're doing, why would people care? Why would people be attracted to what you're saying? Why would they want to join you? And why would they want to use what you're using? Obviously, we have to make it attractive. How do we make it attractive? Human excellence, it's a state of mind, and literally the happiest people are the people who decide to be happy, right? So all of these go together, and I think it can be so much easier than we think, but sometimes it's just getting that snowball pushed again and starting to compound. And so we're excited to kind of dive into a little bit of some different things today. And I just took us on a complete 180 to not where we were going to be, but we went there. Sorry, Jess. I'm pulling up our actual thing we're supposed to be talking about now. Let's see. Okay, so quick personal check-in. I want you to reset and I want you to lean into why people join us and prep for the season that matters most in the year. The sales, the end of the year, it's always the most exciting. People love the little bundles. They love all that. I want you to just reconnect to your purpose and reconnect to why you're here and just give yourself a quick check-in right now about why you're here and why you know what you like that people have or why what hold on a second, I'm having a hard time with words right here. How you know that what you're here for and what we offer is for people and it's what they want and it will help them in life. I want you to just reconnect to that purpose really quick and drop it in the chat. Oh my gosh, people start in July. Shelby, I did see you and your reaction when I said Brendan.
I love Brendan. Like, if
Yeah,
you need a good podcast to follow that's not like too hoity-toity, like personal development, he's very like, here's this is how your brain works, this is why you feel this way, here's how you can make it feel better without being like you're dumb or wrong or any like there's no shame in it. It's just like, you know.
I love that. I need to listen to that because actually, when I was walking today, I was listening to the book on Audible, but I had canceled my Audible and I was like, I need to find a good podcast I can listen to while I'm walking.
Required.
I didn't even think about that. Peace, calm, and strength to know I have control of my own stress, emotions, and responses to help people who have struggled like me. I'm here to educate others. I love it. I'm here to show single moms, I'm just going to say it instead of type it, and moms in general, that we can be present and support our kids in more than one way. There's a big stigma over a lot of single parenthood, and it's hard because I feel like it's all parenthood these days. 2025, it doesn't matter if you're single or if you're not, like we're all just going through some things. But for me, it's really to show like I can keep my shit together. I can breathe. I can enjoy all of the moments, even when I barely get breaks. I can find the joy, I can be present. And not only that, I can use all of this that helps me with that to create an income that supports our family. That's a big one for me. Yes. An example that even with the knockdowns, the setbacks, the chronic illnesses, there's still options and hope, and you can get back up stronger. I love that. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we created a reel of all of us just saying, I'm here because, and it just like went through a bunch? We should do that. I think that would be powerful. Okay, so just something to redirect you to. So with kind of the fires that I kind of poured out there and then us just getting reconnected to our purpose and our belief and our excitement for being here. In a relationship, you need to commit to rekindling that and to pouring into it all the time. And you guys have heard me say this so many times about the business. It's like I got to date my business too. So just recommitting to pouring into that at this time. So we have come together to try to help for those of you that feel like you need to feel more connection, that feel like you need a little bit more guidance, that feel like Maybe you never really got onboarded the way you felt like you should. Maybe you started and you got pulled over into left field and you're still out there and we're like, hey, how are you? And you're like, I swear I'm coming back. And we're like, we know we're in right field, whatever, right? We're all over the place. But we wanted to make it really simple for you to be able to lean back in and feel like you have all the tools that you need. So if you didn't notice, there was a poll in the team page again today in the team thread. We did that for a long time and then it kind of fell off. Um, and when we do that, what we're doing is we're guiding you guys to the most important things to do that day. So if there's a launch, if it's the end of the month, if there's a team call, if whatever, the main things are going to be the income producing activities, but it's also going to have a couple other things in there possibly one day. So every day there will be a poll up there by one of us will put in. You just click them as you go because how many times have you sat down to quote unquote work your business and you're like, let me check notifications. Let me check my inbox. Let me make a post, right? We kind of get in the habit of doing the same things where you can go into into the team thread and be like, and literally just connect there with the poll. So that will be going up daily once again. And then on top of that, if you noticed in there today, we have a 4-week onboarding system that we love and we put a lot of energy into. And sometimes it's hard to continue to kind of keep going. We have people that have made it all the way through, some people that have made it 2 weeks, some 1 week, and some that, are like, I'm just busy doing the things and it's hard for me to do that or I forget. And so what I've committed to doing is every Tuesday and Thursday, I will drop the next thing in there. So today I was like, let's talk about your dosage. We should be talking about all of our dosages every once in a while to make sure that what you're taking is still what you need and that you're feeling your optimal self because I know what I take now is different than what I took when I started. When I started, I took a broad spectrum in the morning, a full spectrum at night, the digestive jelly, the metabolism boost, and the collagen. Okay. Now I take a her in the morning, I take the collagen, and I sometimes have half of a six. I know I get crazy over here, or half of an unwind. Oh, there it is. I love it. But my regimen has changed because the endocannabinoid system is like a Christmas tree or it's like a parking lot. The lights are out or parking lot spaces are open. As we continue to use the products, those spaces will fill over time, but you do need to have patience. This is why we ask people to stick to a regimen for 30, 60, 90 days, because some people will feel results right away, but you get even more results the longer you're on. However, sometimes, like Jocelyn, she had to add more CBDA to hers, she found. For me, I found I needed to shift where I was putting things and how I was. And I use CBDA, but only when I'm feeling a certain way. That's when I need it. So you find those dosages, but I think that it's something we should revisit. So looking at the dosages and then also letting us know what kind of advocate you are. Because if you're like, I'm an all-in advocate and we haven't heard you say that before, guess who's all in with you? But if we don't know, then we don't know the pace you're running, right? But we are. So if you haven't done that yet, in the team thread tonight, go in there, let us know. Do you need help with your dosage? Are you happy with your dosage? And what advocate are you at? And if any, there's no wrong answer, just so you know, there's no wrong answer. Then in a couple days, I'll post the onboarding call. We've all seen it. Maybe some of us haven't. We'll revisit the reels. So all of these trainings will be coming and you can do all of the things or you can pick and choose like, oh, I want to learn, I want to dive into that again. And I did post the week 1 Google Drive because in there's both CBD and business stories that you can save and use if you haven't used them already. So that will be coming. So we wanted to be able to give you the polls, give you the onboarding, and then just commit to having some fun and supporting through the holiday season. So with that being said, I'm finally going to hand it over to Jocelyn.
Oh, you make me giggle. Something that I love so much. I feel like we here in our community have so many different people, different personalities, different ways of learning, of growing, of getting out of dips. And I absolutely love hearing what helps others. And something that I connected with Lindsay on, as soon as I, heard that this was our topic tonight, I was like, I got to dig into my notes. I got to pull some of my quote cards. Like, I find that I get a lot of information to shift my mindset. And where I am at is by being inspired by other people. So I think that that is one of the hugest things about this community is because there's so many amazing, wonderful people, and we're all in different phases of life. If you're in a dip, but you see, Lindsay over here or Shelby over here or Monique over here, that's like they are rolling, they're hitting all the poles, they are, excited, they're on fire. Instead of maybe feeling intimidated by that, right? Rock on. Um, Feed off their fire. Lean into, oh my gosh, she's so excited. I'm so excited for her. She just helped somebody. And you know what? I want to share and help somebody too. So when I was looking into my notes and getting inspired tonight, something that popped up for me was when we were at leadership this past spring, and Meredith had opened our leadership session. And one of the things that I wrote down, because I am a old school note taker, anybody else, drop it in the chat if you are too. But I love it because in these moments where I'm like coming out of a dip, I'm like, my notes, I need all the quotes. Meredith said, consciously cultivated for the good of humanity. Be fact-based, be all in, be bold, be humorous, be true, and use your newfound strength to do good in the world. And I feel like that's so much. I mean, she was talking about what is Green Compass? Why are we here? What is the mission? All of those amazing things. And they're simple things. They're real life, personal, us just being ourself things. It's not about being someone else. It's not about sharing about a product that you don't use. It's about sharing about what's helping you and what you love because you can help somebody else for the better of humanity. So I want to all just take a little step back and I want you to drop in the chat how long you've been with Green Compass. So how long have you been using the products? And then how long have you been an advocate? So that way you kind of just think back. Where were you? Where did you start? Where did we all come from? And now keep going, keep going. I see 3 of them. Who else? Who else? Keep going, keep going. Tell us, how long have you been here? Hi, buddy. Just a minute. A couple more. Come on. I know you're on your phones, but that's okay. Tell us when, participate. Woohoo! Thank you guys. All right, so I want you to think back to when you first started, when you first felt what organic hemp did for your body. Do you remember any of those emotions? And if you do, I want you to drop in the chat. Remember, like, oh my gosh, like I remember my gut health improved. Oh my gosh, I remember I wasn't as reactive and I was able to stay more calm at work, with my kids, with my husband, with, whoever that, nitpicky person is in your life that just like makes you snap. Who were you better able to handle and be around, or what situation? Those feelings of being more in control, feeling better, having more hope in our health. Those are the feelings that we need to bring back into our business right now, starting today. We need to think about those things. And if you're not feeling any of those things right now, just like Lindsay said, I feel like you need to play a little bit with your dosing. Maybe take 3 or 4 days of a break. Stop taking what you're using. See how your body feels. And then add in maybe a little bit less in dosage because maybe your body doesn't need quite so much anymore. Or maybe we're going to switch something up. But we want to remember what this did for our health so that way we can put that at the front of our mind when we're talking about how it can help somebody else. I feel like that is such a key element in this beautiful community in business and organic hemp. I also want you to take a second and I want you to think about when you first joined and when you first started sharing. Did anybody feel like they had a lot of people that were interested in what they were saying because it was brand new? Drop in the chat if you had a lot of people that were asking questions, that were liking your posts, that were commenting on your posts, that were getting in your DMs saying, hey, can you tell me about XYZ? Did anybody see like people were like, oh, what's Kim doing over there? She seems really happy. What has Starlene been talking about? What's this extra glow? So I want us to think for a second. How were we sharing about our experience with organic hemp and organic functional mushrooms in that time? Drop in the chat. What ways were you talking to people in person? Were you posting? Were you doing stories? Were you doing reels? Were you doing lives? Were you not even on Facebook and Instagram? Maybe you were just having people over to your house. Maybe you were going on coffee dates. How were you talking about Green Compass, this business opportunity, and these products to people? I love that, Lindsay. I was loud. Lives, doing reach outs one by one, loud in my posts, texting. Monique, I was posting every day in my stories. Yes. So there was consistency. I love that word that Monique just used, consistency. That is the key. Consistently sharing with passion and energy because people can feel it. Even through a screen, you can feel if someone is excited to be chatting about the topic that they're on, right? You can feel if someone is just like saying something off a script and there's absolutely no passion or, true belief behind it. They're two totally different types of messages and two totally different ways to share and help people. And honestly, when you put forth the emotion and the passion and the energy, the response is so much higher. And one of the ways that I want you to think about that, like how do people feel those things? Through emotions, right? Through your tone of voice, through inflection, through facial expressions. So, what things are people going to see and hear and feel? How can we present that information through stories, through talking on our stories, through doing a live, hearing how you talk, through doing a reel? Posts are great, but sometimes letting people hear and feel the passion takes it that extra step because they know that you really believe in it. Okay, so another way that I was getting inspired tonight, did anybody register for our virtual conference and get the mystery bundle? It came with these really cool little cards. And I kid you not, I flipped it over and the card that I picked was reset, which is what we are talking about tonight. And I'm like, well, that's a sign. I have to talk about that. So the way that Green Compass described resetting, they stated that a reset is a sacred part of my growth. And that hit me hard because sometimes we think of a reset as like, I failed, I'm starting over, but that's not what it is. A reset is a shift. It is a moment where we realize I need to take this in a different direction so I can grow more and I can do more and I can be more. And think about it from that growth standpoint instead of a negative dip. Because we all have dips. We all have the roller coaster of life, right? Every phase of life is a roller coaster. So take that moment of your reset to grow, to figure out how we've grown, like Lindsay had said earlier, and let yourself rise. All right. So tying all this back in to remembering that bigger picture of why we are here, what brought us to Green Compass, what products, what components, what piece of the community, what piece of the company, what mission really set your little booty on fire. And I want you to dig into that and think about those things as we go into this next quarter, this last quarter of the year, where there's going to be so much excitement and so much fun and people that are excited to gift someone else with something that is going to help their lives. Because I don't know about you, but when I choose gifts for someone, I like to be something from the heart. I like to choose something for someone that I care about. If I care about this person, like I want to put time and effort into a gift that I'm giving. I want to do something that's going to help or benefit or bring them joy. And here at Green Compass, that is exactly what we do. We change lives in these gentle, subtle shifts that make such a big difference in not just one area of life, but the whole area of life. So, as we go into this next corner, I want you to think about sharing and how you can share and educate people to not only help themselves, but to purchase something that's going to help one of their friends, that is going to allow them to make an impact on somebody's life too. And I'm going to finish my little segment with one more little quote because I was looking through my notes and I saw a Brian Maxwell quote. And it was the reminder that people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. So keep that in mind as you're sharing, as you are gently leading people to maybe a different, maybe a totally unknown type of health, preventative health, offensive health. And remind yourself that the main purpose here is for connection, is for giving other people hope, is for healing the body. And just know that when they know you care, they will then invest in you because they believe in you and they believe that what you say is going to help their bodies, which then allows them to invest in themselves. All right, that's what I got.
I love that. Jess, will you actually do me a favor? We've been having a little side conversation in the chat, but I feel like I'd love for you to kind of lean in on this. I kind of said a little bit of some things. I think it'd be good for us to touch on this on the call. Diane kind of spoke up and was kind of just sharing how it's been a little bit hard for her. She's been posting daily, but only so far. Um, no real response, but it's only been 3 months. And they've been really, I love how you guys are coming together and being like, yeah, it's hard and seeing each other. And it can feel like that. And it can definitely be like that. I kind of gave a little bit of advice below about, you know, needing to find the people, not only like the business, I didn't wait for Jocelyn to come to me. I didn't wait for Kim to come to me. I didn't wait for Shelby to come to me. None of these people I waited for to come to me. I saw them. I knew they'd be great. I loved them. And I went to them and I said, if it's now or if it's never, it doesn't matter to me. But if I do not tell you what I'm doing right now, then I'm doing you a disservice. So how are you approaching people? That's the question. Because I wasn't just in the inbox saying, hey, Jill, would you like to learn about this? Or sending a cold invite. When I mean approaching people, I mean it's people that you've been seeing on Instagram or on Facebook that you're like, okay, this person's on my dream team. I'm going and I'm just taking the energy to that conversation. I'm inviting them. That's kind of the reach outs I'm meaning. But also, the other one that I was saying was that
I was
it's
gonna,
it's a
oh,
numbers
sorry.
game. So if we're just doing some reach outs and some posts, then we're going to get some responses. So if we're okay with that, and that's our definition of success, then awesome. But if our definition of success is more, then what do I need to do to get that? How do I close that gap? Those were my answers, but I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, so I love that question because I feel like so many people feel that way, right? So that's the other thing too. I love, guys, this is a safe space. If there's something that's jumping out at you, if you feel it, someone else is feeling it. So it's so good to bring up these concerns and to talk because we've all been there. So something that I always I truly, truly believe that when I know something will help me, it is easier for me to share. So I think that's number one. You have to share about the things that truly have impacted your life because you're going to talk about them differently. You're going to share about them differently, and people are going to feel it differently. And that's why when I first started my business, I tried to do a live on each product individually of what I was using. So I broke down what is this specific jelly for and comment sleep if you need help in that area. So it's zoned in for people instead of doing a post just about all the things, talking about one thing that allows people to do a quick response, a quick little just commenting sleep underneath because they need help in that one area. And it allows them to, I feel like when we say like reach out to my DMs, no one does that. I don't know about you, but it's very rare. That's actually, I had a lie. I had one person tell me today, but it had been a hot minute. But I feel like helping them to connect with you in the least intimidating way as possible is key. So if you're telling them to do something, they're less likely going to do it if it takes that extra step. So I even think for me personally, if someone's watching my stories daily, if someone likes one of my posts, they liked it for a reason. So that is the green light for me to message them and say, thank you so much for the positivity and the support. It's sometimes it's a little, intimidating for me to open up and share, but it's so worth it when I know I can help other people. And when I just open up the conversation with thanking them and being vulnerable, I feel like that helps them let their guard down. And then usually they respond with, oh my gosh, you're so welcome. I appreciate following you because of XYZ. And then at that point, if it feels right, that's when you can say, oh my gosh, I thank you for saying that. I actually never used to be a confident speaker, but using the organic hemp has really helped me to reduce my stress, increase my calm, which in return has given me more confidence. So there's always a way to tie back organic hemp in a very genuine way. And that's the thing. When someone responds, I think it's really important instead of just like really quickly like responding in some way, think about how organic hemp has helped you in a way that you can respond. Because it then gives them again another exposure of, oh, I didn't realize that could help me in that way. So maybe that's another thing. I needed sleep. I also need help with stress and confidence and all the things. So I really think that being vulnerable, always um being positive. And I mean, I worked in retail for a very short time. It just was not for me. And I always said I'm not good at sales, but people always do better and will invest more when it's a positive situation. They don't want to be preached at. They don't want to be constantly, and we might even see it as education. But sometimes when we're on our soapboxes, it can be taken the wrong way and it can rub someone the wrong way. So you got to just find the balance of what feels genuine to you, and how you want to educate people because you're going to attract people who are like you in the way that you're speaking. Um, so yeah, I hope that answered some of what you were asking,
I think
Diane.
it gave a good, we both addressed it, and then you actually gave like some action steps to overcome it and move forward. So I think that was great.
Good.
Yeah. Did you guys have any other questions on that? Shelby, go ahead.
Sorry, Andrew was asking me about grilled cheese, and I'm like,
Hey,
yes,
Andrew.
please. No, oh, it was Lindsay. You said, like, I didn't wait for this person to come to me. I didn't wait for this person to come to me. I reached out to them. And I think in the very beginning, for some people, that if you're not confident yet, that can feel kind of intimidating. That can feel like, oh, I'm reaching out to these people and like I'm bothering them or I'm doing XYZ, or you know what I mean? Like it comes off as being the wrong way. But as somebody who was on the receiving end of being reached out to, I can tell you, and if you're sitting here, you are the same way, chances are, you now see the benefit of it. Like you're sitting in reaping the benefit of somebody reaching out to you with what they like had such powerful energy and products that we know and love and use every single day. And so don't don't be afraid to reach out, like, and like kind of blending both of what Lindsay said with Joss, like reach out, but reach out authentically. like Lindsay and I constantly are joking behind the scenes that we're like, we're a giant hot mess. Like you guys have seen it. Those of you who are in my group chats, like I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry that I'm popping in here like 2 seconds late. That's also how I'm showing up to my people that are signing up. Like you guys know that, you saw it, you signed up with me because I'm being real. It's okay to be real. Like, and by it's okay to be real, I mean, absolutely do it. You cannot fake authenticity. People join you because they trust you. So don't feel like you are, because you're reaching out. We're not reaching out like people were doing in 2016 with hey girl messages. Hey girl, join my team. Like we're not doing that. We're coming at it, like Lindsay said, like, hey, I did this. This is where we're at. It is at the ground level. These products work, this company works, this comp plan works, this community works. Show up, lean in, and we can make this happen. We know this because those of us that are sitting here that have been around for 2 years, we're still here because it works, because the products work, because the comp plan works, because the company works, because we have the support, because we have the community. Like you get out of this what you put into it, and just showing up boldly and unapologetically will get you places that you literally couldn't have dreamed of when you first started.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that too. We were going to do an action hour at the end of tonight, but I think this is what we were supposed to do. So we're going to keep going with this. If that's all right, Jess. Yeah. Um, but so one, Shelby and I are the hot messes of the team. In the best way, we're also roommates on trips. So how the fact that we get anywhere is amazing. We're rooming together in Cabo again this yay in 8 days. But what I'm saying is that's what I think people love and why they join me a lot of times is because you don't have to have your shit together to do it. Like this helps me keep my shit together, you know? But I wanted to say this. Okay, so my boyfriend is a musician and he was a hip hop executive. He was then he moved out to LA. He was a singer-songwriter. Then he moved to Nashville. He was on stage and was the tour manager for Brett Young for 7 years. And then one day he was like 40 in an airplane 9 a.m. They were starting to drink after he's not a big drinker, after they were just out at a tour, whatever the night before. And he literally had this moment where he was like, if this is what it is, I don't want it. Like, what am I doing? I'm 40. I've never been married. I don't have kids. Like, what am I doing? And he quit and he went and he sold BMWs. And then now he's in leadership and development in the corporate world, and he has his own music. This is where it all comes, okay? He has these limiting beliefs because of the fact that he's had all of these accolades before. We will be in Michigan City and he'll be like, it's so weird. I play at all of the places here, but this place, Zorn, has never asked me to play here, which is really weird. And I'm like, have you asked to play here? And he's like, kind of looks at me like, well, no, but whatever. So then we're in Illinois, that's Indiana. We're in Illinois and we're out somewhere and he's like, they have live music here. It's so weird. Like they've never asked me. I'm like, nobody knows because you don't promote yourself, because he has this thing of like word of mouth, this proudness of who he was in the past. But this is a different thing, but who the past him is isn't the current him. Like nobody knows that stuff. It doesn't matter to them. They don't know. Even when you have the big following, even when you've been super successful, even if whatever, you still have to be the person like, that's so weird. Zorn has never asked me to play here. And I literally, have you asked to play here? So that's so weird. My aunts watch my stories every day and they've never asked me about CBD. Have you asked them about CBD? Right? Like, that's so weird. I do all this and my friends don't even ask me, like, and I'm afraid to ask my friends. It doesn't mean that you're not wanted in that space or that you're not valued or that what you have isn't going to be accepted. It's like sometimes we think that those things need to come to us. Anyway, I was just on a soapbox there, but I just think it's important to hear that when Kathy said I have limiting beliefs, someone who's had uber success in the music industry has limiting beliefs of his own in another space now. And it all comes down to putting yourself out there. So it's scary. So these feelings that everyone's feeling, or, reaching out, or I don't want to do too much, or I don't want to bother, those are all valid. But at the end of the day, someone's going to ask them about it. They're going to buy something from someone for their nervous system. They're going to buy something from someone for their hormones. They're going to buy something for someone for their hair, skin, and nails. They're going to buy something for someone for them from their metabolism. And the only difference of whether it's you or someone else is if you can close the gap and be authentically you before someone else does. Because they're not going to close the gap most of the time. Took me 10 years before people were really seriously the ones coming to me more than me going to them. And now I'm in a season again where I'm the one going out more. It goes in waves. But so often, if you're like, oh man, all these people watch my story and they've never asked me about it. Have you asked them? Right? So just a little, another kind of perspective there. But I think what we can do is, I think sometimes we sit down and we don't really know what to do in our business and how to really work our business. So maybe what we were going to do is talk about the income producing activities and then kind of go through them with you. But I think maybe we can just lay out the income producing activities, and each of us, like Jess and I and Shelby, if you want to kind of share how we fit it into our day and then kind of go from there. What do you think, Jess? Yeah. Okay. So you guys, there are so many different activities that we need to do in a day or that we could do in a day to market ourselves and to have success. We're only going to hold you for a few more minutes, don't worry. But when you look at that list, there are things that are easier to do and there's things that are harder to do. And guess what the income producing activities are? They're the things that are harder to do. So we typically look at this list and we're like, I'm going to do the easy thing. Check my comments, check my inbox, make a post, check my notifications, check my office. Look at me, I'm working, but I'm never getting anything, because where are your follow-ups? Where are your invites? And where are your connections that have nothing to do with Green Compass or any breadcrumbing at all, but strictly just connecting with another human? Right? Those are income producing activities, and making a reel. These are income producing activities. The post and the reel, I'd say the reel is, because typically they all go together. They all go together. You need all pieces of the recipe to make the cake. If you have grandma's recipe and it's her special recipe and you do all of them except one ingredient, your mom's going to be like, this was not grandma's recipe. You're missing something, I can tell. Right? It's not going to be the same. Is it going to work? Sure, but is it going to work to the capacity at which it should have? No. So you need that. But the income producing activities are always the hardest to get to. They're typically the ones we push off. And if you're tracking what you do for your business every day, you'll find that you probably only do the income producing activities once to twice a week. And the others you do daily because they're easy to do. So I want to challenge you to eat that frog. And when you sit down to do your work, you get those activities, those income producing activities done first. So really quick, how I fit it into my day is I get up at 6 or 6:30, believe it or not. I do. I'm doing it these days. I get up at 6 or 6:30 and I have my self-care for me in that time. I journal, gratitude, devotional, meditate, whatever I need to do in that time to just have coffee and feel like I am a human being. Okay. Then from 7 until 8, I'm working my Green Compass business, 7 to 8 in the morning. The very first thing I'm doing is, well, my kids homeschool, so this is not a crazy time for me. That's why my crazy time starts at 11. So 7 to 8, the very first thing I'm doing is I am going in my inbox, but I'm only answering people that are moving through to some sort of sale, or I'm in a conversation with them about something. I'm moving those conversations forward first. Okay. Checking on advocate conversations. Those are important too. Then what I'm doing is I am typically going and following up with anybody. Oh, Tabitha's on. Is that the truth? Oh, hey.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
Nothing but the truth. I was like, I'm just gonna see if they're still on their call because we just got home from our game, and I was like, they're not gonna be on the call still.
Oh, well,
Yay!
I talked for
Okay,
30 minutes in the beginning, so
I'm here to listen. I love you.
love you. Um, So then it's let me get into my the very next thing is let me get into my follow-ups because the fortune is in the follow-up. If you're not following up with people, if you're not bothering people, what you're really doing is showing them you're not going to lead them to a close. I'm not going to buy anything from someone who tells me about it and then steps back and waits for me to follow to be like, "Hey, remember you were talking to me about that?" I love when someone's like, "Hey, I just wanted to check in on you. If you're not ready and you haven't watched the video, that's okay, but I'm doing my part." When someone does their part, they show me they're reliable and they're not going to leave me once I purchase. So I want to make sure that I'm doing my follow-ups. I'm going to do my invites. I'm going to connect with some people. If I have time, I'm getting a post or a reel up in the morning. I'm getting through the rest of my inbox. It all depends. When that hour is up, that hour is up. But my income producing activities are done first. The rest I can kind of get through throughout the day. Okay. What about you, Jess?
Okay, so to be totally honest with you, this last month or two, I have had a really hard time with social media. I have just not really felt like it has been a super positive or productive place for me. And it was hard for me to get on and be present and happy and excited. So I unintentionally found myself stepping back from my income producing activities using social media. But what I did to combat that or to make up for it is I tried to be more intentional about speaking about Green Compass in person to people around me in my daily life. So I was more intentional about giving samples. So I picking up my kids in the carpool line. I've become friends with the ladies that put in your little number on the app. And I've literally handed them little baggies of 6 and told them to have a great evening. And there's actually 2 of them, they decided they wanted to split a variety pack. So that was great. Like a sale came out of me just putting a couple 6s in a bag and talking for 1 to 2 minutes to the ladies in the pickup line. I also have been more intentional about once a month, really trying to do some sort of in-person get together. Doesn't have to be this huge organized thing. I've been doing this. We have a pool in our backyard and it's Texas, so it's in Houston. So it's like an armpit down here. It's sweaty and gross, and people still want to be in the pool. Um, so I have been doing a little Zen by the pool, and we all just dip our toes in, and I turn on a meditation on my TV, and I set out 6 in a cooler, and everybody grabs one, and we sit and we have fun and we talk, and it is extremely low pressure. But everybody tries it. And then at the end, I'm like, what do you guys think of it? Like, this one's my favorite. What's yours? And I had 4 people that were like, send me the link to that because that was really good. So it was just like it doesn't have to be, it's okay if you're not doing things exactly the way that you always have done them because something is switched around in your life, if something doesn't feel authentic. But find a way to make it feel authentic. Still doing, because I'm building connections, right? Like I'm talking to new people with my window down. I am giving a sample. So I'm letting them try it, taste it. And then I'm asking for their opinion and asking if they want a cart. So I'm still doing all of the things, but it's in a way that, I wasn't necessarily reaching out every single day on social media. I also think that it is all about balance. And you have to have a little bit of everything, just like Lindsay said with the ingredients. If I was only doing things in person, I think I'd miss out on a whole bunch of people if I wasn't sharing online in my stories and my posts, and vice versa. So I think that both ways to share are so important, and we need to open our minds up and maybe think outside of the box and add something that makes us a little bit uncomfortable. Because I'm not going to lie to you, it's not super easy for me to meet new people. And to be honest with you, I am an extroverted, no, I'm an introverted, no, I'm an extroverted introvert. So to my heart, like it makes me anxious to talk to new people. Like I get hives. So, but once I get in a circle where I feel happy and accepted and like I'm with my people, I'm an extrovert and I'm able to express myself. So this Friday, I'm actually going to a mommy's play date with my 2-year-old, and I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I'm gonna wear a turtleneck so no one can see the hives. But I know that once I get there, it will be fine. And when you're in a new group of people, what's the first thing they ask you? What do you do? And it's this wide open invitation to share a little bit about your story about, oh, I sell organic hemp and functional mushrooms. And they're like, what? Like this, soccer mom, they think like they need some education on what this is, but it gives me a way to incorporate humor, talk about my story, how I was stressed, overstimulated, like hormones are a mess, gut health. And those things right there, everybody has one of those issues. It allows you they open the door for you to share. And it creates those new connections. They start following you on Instagram, on Facebook, and then it allows you to either continue the conversation on social media or continue it next time you see them or via text. So that's kind of my roundabout way of saying what I do.
I love it. Thank you. Shelby, do you have a way you do it?
Do I? I'm kind of a combination of both of y'all, honestly. Like I get up in the morning, I'm like you guys, like things are crazy, life is chaos. We work, 50, 60 plus more hours a week. Um, so in the morning, I always make sure I get my post up. I haven't been doing reels in the morning. I need to get back to doing them in the morning. They do better for me. But I check in with my team in my chats, make sure that they have what they need to get their stuff going. And then I kind of do check-ins throughout the day on things, kind of like like you said, your income producing activities, my follow-ups, my check-ins, stuff like that are just kind of like where I fit it in throughout the day. Just to be like fully transparent, sometimes that's in a bathroom stall. Um, that is life. Um, because where there's a will, there's a way, right? And when there's not, then there's an excuse. I can be sitting there scrolling, doing nothing, or I can be, making 20 to 30% off of a sale while going potty. So, that happens from time to time. But I also, like Joss said, I was actually just answering an email for like a vendor type event. It's actually for pets. Like I'm gonna take CBD pet stuff to this event now. Like, do I use a ton of that for mine? No, because I have cats and we use a lot of the droppers. This person's interested in the treats, but like getting outside of my comfort zone and putting myself out there in person because like Joss said, I'm an introverted or an extroverted introvert. If I could be at my house every single day forever and always I would be. But once I get out and I get to be around people, it just kind of comes out. So yes, kind of like I said, kind of a combination of the two of y'all. Every once in a while, I have a period where I sit down and I'm like, okay, I have 30 minutes where I'm actually going to do XYZ. But not every single day. So don't think that it has to be like every day. You have to do it this exact way.
Yeah. So you have my way that I said, which is like, this is how it happens. This is the way it gets done. You have Jocelyn's way, which is like, let me think outside of the box and make sure I'm getting all of like in person just as much. And then you have Shelby, who's like, I'm going to do the best I can where I can. They'll fit in, but pockets of time is where it's at. So I love that all three of us had a different response because you can see that whatever it is that works for you, great, but income producing activities first. Always. That would be my tip. So, with that being said, I think that we are done for the evening, unless Tabitha has something to say. Hi.
Hi, how are you? I love that I was able to get on this call and I love that it's still going on. The only thing I would say that it kind of ties everything in with what you guys were saying, and I've said this before, but I think sometimes if we take our goal, and I don't know if this is exactly what you were talking about, but I think if we can take our goal, like for me, like I can see that I've done fine this month. I've done okay. But had I broke down my goals per week to look at the long-term goal that I want for the month. And this is a good tip for as we start tomorrow, the first of the month. It's like, take your goals and then like reverse engineer what you need to do in the activity that you need to show up in, whatever that looks like for you, with the varieties, what Lindsay, Joss, and Shelby said. And then it's like at the end of the first week, it's like, okay, maybe your goal is like 2000 in PV. I'm just throwing that out there. So it's like, we know that we need 500 in PV by the first 7-day end, so that then it's like, okay, now I can gauge, and it's okay if you're only at 350 or whatever. Okay, no big deal. I just know that I need to weave in something, right? To get to the next whatever, to stay on task and track for what I want my month end goal. And that's why I'm always like, and I haven't been doing in-person events, but that's why I'm always like, if you can get one of those on your calendar, it's like you've already given yourself a boost, because if you're doing the daily activities every single day, you're having new conversations, samples, all the things, then you have this event strategically placed. It's like, then that's just going to create more for you, potentially more, like open more doors. And so I don't know. I think that is just all that I was thinking, because I like to break it down in that way, because I think sometimes if we don't know where we're going, and we don't have almost that push to close people, and it's not a push or like a pressure, but it's almost like, okay, I want to get two more, like we talked in our leader chat today. We're like, okay, like Shelby's like, I want this much more, I want to get close two more people, or whatever the case is. And I just think that's a fun way to look at it. Not that it's always about our goals, but just to break it down so that we know where we're going and what we want to do. And then the tasks are going to reflect on that,
I like it. You would have liked the fire in the beginning. You're gonna have to listen.
Oh, I would have liked it.
You threw a whole tree in there. We were like,
Did anyone see the tree coming?
no. Did you see the tree coming?
Did everyone just like, did they just freeze, or what did they do?
We got some s'mores out. It was crazy.
You lit that mother.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, all right.
Aw. All right. I'm so glad I
Take
got
a
to see you
pic.
guys. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. If you want to show your face, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. We'll do a pic. Ready? I'm not going to do a boomerang this time. Typically I do. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Love it. Okay,
God,
guys,
I'm
thanks for
unmuted.
staying so long. Tabitha, thanks for jumping on. Here we go. October 1st, clean canvas, excitement, ready to lean in. I'm excited. I haven't been excited in a while. I have, but not
I think we have more fire right now. There's just something about to happen, and it's really good, and you don't want to miss it.
yes. Yes. Dun dun dun. To be continued.
Dun dun.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
bye.